everyone, my name is Chuck. I just wanted to make this video to try to help inform people of the everyday trials of people that have ALS and other motor neuron type diseases. A lot of them are very similar. ALS is what I currently have and am fighting still to this point. I've been fighting it for several years. I've been diagnosed since summer of 2015, and I've been dealing with my symptoms for several years earlier than that, and had trouble finding doctors that could find an answer to what it is we're dealing with. And I finally found one, and he's been helping us through this the best that he can. ALS is not curable, and to my knowledge does not have a lot of treatment, especially when the stages get too far. I can tell you about myself. I started with a tremor disorder back when I was a teenager, and people were trying to figure out what was wrong, and I actually got falsely diagnosed with low blood sugar, and then we went several years without ever looking for anything else. As I got into my adulthood, I started trailing doctors when I started gaining other symptoms, and most neurologists would run a test and they say they find nothing and they let us go. I think it was around 08, 09-ish is when I started stumbling. That was my next symptoms. My legs got really weak. My balance got very weak. I would stumble a lot. After a while, I'd start actually falling down. I'd fall off my work trucks. Even though I was, my legs were getting very, very weak and very hard to use the way everybody else does, I still continued trying to work. And then I started having to change jobs to something that maybe I could sit down a little bit more. And then I started having trouble with those jobs, and I was high risk of injury. Finally, I had to stop working altogether and start trying to seek my disability, which was definitely not one of my most treasured moments. I wanted to keep working. I wanted to keep going out and making money, taking care of my family, and finally I had to quit working. My wife started working, and we were seeking my disability, which was very hard to get without a diagnosis. My legs finally started getting even weaker, and I couldn't walk from the front door of the house to the car without falling down, or getting up out of bed in the morning and maybe walking to the living room or the kitchen without falling down. I quite often would have to have somebody help me pick up myself off the floor. I kept going the best that I could, trying to do as much as I could, because I was slowly starting to realize that I didn't have a lot of time to do things, so I was trying to do as much as I could with what little bit of time I had left to use those muscles. There's a disconnect in the brain that makes it so that the signal from your brain to your muscle doesn't make it. So your brain isn't communicating to your muscle to work like everybody else. Whereas most people just use their legs. They get up out of a seat and they start walking, and they don't think anything of it because their brain just tells their leg to move, and mine doesn't. In which case, when at first it was at random, sometimes I could get up, other times I couldn't. It was a disconnect that sometimes disconnected and other times would connect. But for the most part, the disconnect was there. It was every now and then that I could get my muscle to work when I needed it to. But from the majority of the time not being used versus a little bit here and there being used, my muscles started to deteriorate to just about nothing. When I first got my first wheelchair, I was able to get up and maybe take a couple of steps so I could like drive my wheelchair to the couch and get up and turn and sit down on the couch or even go to bed. And it got to where after a while I couldn't even stand up. Now I'm permanently wheelchair bound. I'm basically stuck wherever I'm put. If I'm sitting in my recliner in the living room, I'm kind of stuck there until somebody moves me or till somebody moves me. Same thing with my bed. My wheelchair is the only place I'm not really stuck, because once I get moved to that, I can move wherever I want via joystick, because I don't have the arm strength to power a manual wheelchair. I now am so far into my symptoms that I need help with almost every basic need throughout the day. People have to make me food, bring me food. Sometimes I'm down to just have and eat finger food. Once in a while I can get down and get a spoon in my mouth, but nowadays very rarely. A lot of times even with finger food or spoon food, I have to have help. My wife will have to help me eat it because I just can't get it in my mouth. I have to have help getting to the shower and taking the shower. It's a lot more detailed than somebody that can just go jump in the shower and be done in 10-20 minutes. I need help getting to the shower chair, getting the shower chair into the shower, and actually being bathed as well, because I just don't have my arms don't reach very well anymore. They usually move by assistance if I set it on something and try to raise it, or like on the stand. As you see, I have to move my hand across the stand. I can't just pick it. I can pick my hand up now, because my arms rest on the stand, but I can't pick my arm up off the stand to actually do it. My range of motion is very limited. My legs are pretty much numb most of the time. I don't have a lot of feeling. My feet almost have zero feeling other than pain. My hands here recently started hurting really bad, and they're starting to lock up much like my feet do. It's harder for me to grab things. I have a mug here that I use for drinking. It's the only thing I can drink out of, and a lot of times I have to have help getting it to my mouth, because it's just between the mug and the liquid, it's just too much. And even when the mug's empty, it's still too much for me to lift. These are trials that people in my situation go through. I know when I was for a while, when we were fighting from one doctor to another, and I was in a wheelchair, people would treat me a little differently, because some people thought I was faking it, and it's just not things you fake. My whole body has tremors right now. You might see my hand shaking because it's off the stand. Once on the stand, you don't notice it as much. But my head will bobble from time to time. Sometimes my eyes will even shake and it gets blurry. The rest of my body you don't see shaking because I'm sitting on the chair. But when I could stand up, you could see my whole body wobbling around, trying to get its balance, I think. And because it never really got its balance, it just continues to wobble, trying to keep me up. It started out in my hands, and then the tremors got to my arms, and it worked its way through my entire body, just like the ALS does. But there's not any day-to-day routine that I don't need assistance with. I have to have help getting into my chair. In another video, we might show you some of these things that I use to try to help get through day-to-day activities. But I can't get through an entire day on my own, like most people can. I even, for a while, I was stuck inside my apartment because we didn't have a wheelchair van. All we had was a car, and the wheelchair didn't go in the car. And I couldn't get out of my wheelchair to get in the car seat anymore. So I pretty much was stuck at home just because I didn't have proper transportation. And several months ago, we had help getting a wheelchair accessible van, and took us a minute to get used to having it and using it, but now we use it just fine, and it gives us a little bit more freedom during the warmer months. When it's cold out, I'm kind of stuck in most of the winter, except for like having to go to doctors and other things that I have to get up for. But everyday things like going to the store and things like that, my wife does by herself now, because the cold just destroys my body, because the things that most people have on their body, be it fat, muscle, etc., that helps them try to stay warm. You still got to put warm clothes on, but there's parts of your body that helps you stay warm also, and I don't have those. So even with warmer clothing, the wind and the cold just cuts right through me, because I don't have the muscles. I have little fat, because it's hard for me to eat these days. I lose some of the fat too, and the muscle is just gone from being ate from the disease. So none of that helps me stay warm during the winter. During the warmer months, though, I get out quite often as I can. I try to stay active, and my being active is just getting in my wheelchair and going for a ride, or getting in the van and going for a ride. I'm pretty much limited to home entertainment, like playing video games and watching TV. I can't get out and play ball with the kids, and anything else I would like to do that most people do to have fun. My fun is kind of limited. We had to go and get like special bigger spoons for me to eat with. Pretty much every activity that I have to get through a day, I've got a special something that we had to do to try to make it easier, try to make it more helpful, try to make it easier on people that have to help me. It's really hard for me, and I'm still learning how to accept the fact that I can't do these things on my own. The disease is not just physically ailing, it's mentally and emotionally ailing.
Explain before about your arm. And I want to make sure you got on that as well, so they can like really see. No, I meant like how the deterioration is.
Okay, yeah. I don't know if I can get it so the camera can see it though.
Come around.
Oh
shit! Just
What we're about to try to show you is I used to have quite a bit of muscle in my arm, my bicep, and can you put that up to my shoulder? And as you can see there's not really much there. It's just done. There might be some bone in there still, but as far as the muscle, it's pretty much all gone. There are times that some of my pain extends as far as it feels like my bone is even deteriorating, which is got a lot of pain too. There's not an activity in my day that doesn't have pain attached to it somewhere. And my arm is just one example. I can't really pull up my leg, but in my thigh, it's indented where the muscle used to be, basically showing that that there's nothing there. It's just a great big dimple. And it's when I first realized that my bicep was completely gone, it was very disheartening. I used to be rather stocky, able to handle things basically, and I did have quite a bit of muscle to do the things I needed to do, and it's losing that is like losing a part of you. I've been basically dealing with my symptoms probably close to 10 years now, give or take. Might be a little more, a little less, but it's been a long time. And I've heard that the statistics is with ALS, from the onset of symptoms, you're usually able to go maybe 3 to 5, sometimes no more than 10 years. And I think by all statistics, I'm probably close to beating that, and I'm still going. We debate day to day what that really means for us. Once you beat the expectation, it's hard to see where it goes from there. Whether it's basically over or almost over, or are you going to be the exception to the rule, and it plays a lot on your mind. It's definitely played a lot on my emotion and my mental state, because I used to doing manly things, going out and working 60, 80 hours a week. I've had shop jobs and labor jobs. I used to work in a kitchen for a living, cooking. A lot of things that I just can't do anymore, and the fact that I lose the things that I enjoy doing is very hurtful. Sorry, my throat was starting to get dry. As you've seen, somebody had to pick up the mug for me because it's just too much for me to pick up and get in my mouth. Sometimes I can pull forward and get a drink, but a lot of times that's difficult too. A lot of my day-to-day, when I put my legs up in my chair, I gotta have somebody put my legs together so that they're on the footstool. My wife, she handles this the best as she can, probably better than most spouses would. It's really hard to deal with this and to get through this, either from my point of view or from hers. My children, they help me with a lot of things too, out of the want to help me, not the fact that it's expected. But they're very nice about going and getting me drinks and helping me get a drink in my cup, or help me fix my feet the right way, so I don't fall off my footstool. What's that?
Except the youngest attitude as of late about certain things when it comes to helping.
Right, but they really do. They help the best that they can. They're always wanting to make sure I'm comfortable. Sometimes when I'm doing something and I look like I need help, they'll ask, because a lot of times I don't ask. I just struggle, and sometimes I just plain give up and decide not to do what I'm trying to do just because I don't want to ask for help, because a lot of times it's hard for me to ask for help for anything. But it plays a lot on the family around me, and the friends that come see me. It plays a lot on them, having to see how I live day to day, and the things I need help with that I used to do on my own. I used to be the main driver in the home, and my wife had to take up driving, and anytime I need to go anywhere, she drives, because I'm now unfit to drive because of my leg muscles not working right. And even when they worked a little bit, my reflexes were real slow reacting, so she found it better fit that I give up my license. I've had a lot of loss, and I've had to give up a lot of things, and by no means do I believe the loss is over. There's a new change every day that we have to do something new or try to change the environment to try to fit me better. It's a trial by error. We could have never, even upon diagnosis, we could have never imagined the changes that our life was going to go into. Earlier this year, my wife had to quit her job because she was working trying to take care of the family, and she had to quit her job because the doctor put me on 24-hour care, and the insurance we had refused to honor that. They wouldn't pay anybody to come in the home while she was at work, and of course, if we were going to pay for it, it was going to cost twice as much as she was making. So the doctor said the only other alternative was for her to stay home and take care of me, and so it wasn't a preferred choice. It was the only choice that was available to us, and it really hurt our financial end. Losing her income just left us living off disability, which is definitely difficult. I could have never imagined how hard it was to live off of what little bit they give you. And I have needs sometimes that the doctor writes scripts for that the insurance doesn't cover them, and we have to come out of pocket for them. And those things are a lot more difficult than most people could ever imagine. Sometimes I think we take for granted things that we have in our life, even the simple things like being able to get up and walk and drive a car, all the things that people do in a normal everyday. People get up, walk out to the kitchen, and get something to eat, and they think nothing of it. When you think most about it is when you lose it and you can't do it anymore. I value the things I used to have a lot more than I used to, I guess, because I don't have them now. And keep puzzling.
Just yeah.
Okay.
What's on?
You're stuck.
Yeah, that's what I said. That was a cool idea.
We can just do this as it for this video.
Do you need to be her to push you upwards or something?
No, not that kind of stuff.
He's lost. He doesn't know.
My brain is stuck.
Oh.
My brain is stuck. So, can't tell how long this is going.
Nope. Okay.
You know what?
Oh.
Wait. I'm gonna have to end this video on that for now, but there will be other videos very soon. I'm gonna try to get on a regular schedule of posting videos, but at the moment, I'm gonna get them out, as soon as I can.
I'm gonna shoot for trying for once a week, because if we do a long session with you talking, I can break it down into smaller videos.
Okay.
I'm not gonna try and push for more than once a week.
Okay.
If necessarily, I can scale it back to at least once every 2 weeks.
Okay.
I will probably try to get some video on the 20th,
Right.
at least. I don't know how long it'll take me to process all of that and get that uploaded, though.
This one?
Not this one. This one will take me a
The
while.
one on the 20th?
Yeah.
Okay.
Before you record on the 20th, you might want to
Make sure
ask anyone that.
I know. I was already planning on it. That's why I said I was going to record some video, not a lot.
Right. And then you and Mom are going to go around and do the other video, right?
Yeah.
Maybe
I can
tomorrow
do
or something,
yeah,
so you can
do
post it kind of somewhat together.
Yeah.
Okay.
Probably do it while the youngest is doing her schoolwork.
Yeah, that'd be a good time. We're going to get another video together showing some of my devices and some of the things that I have to use to get through day-to-day living. And then we're going to see about getting some other video maybe in about a week. We are going to start putting regular videos up, so please subscribe to the channel, like the video, and please look out for others.
In a similar situation as well as I'm going to try and get a Patreon up to help with anything, like, because like you said, disability is pretty hard to live off of.
Oh, it hurt you?
Yeah.
Okay. Sorry, we're going to try to get another video just displaying the things so that you can see what it takes someone in my situation to live on a day-to-day basis, just to be able to survive. They're going to take a camera through, show some pictures of the stuff that I have to use, and then I'll go through and explain them to you also. But if you want future knowledge of my day-to-day living, or if we're doing the videos once a week, you know, my weekly living, the things that come up in my days in between videos, I'll be happy to explain them. Anything I forgot to mention in this video that might be relevant to relevant information for people to know. We're just trying to get the word out about a disease that is very limited information online through doctors. I know when I first got diagnosed, I went to tell friends and family about what I was diagnosed with. Some people knew ALS by ALS, others wasn't sure. I mentioned Lou Gehrig, and they knew that he was a baseball player that had a disease called Lou Gehrig's disease, also known as ALS. But very few people knew anything other than the disease was fatal. They don't know the day-to-day things that happen to individuals in this situation from the onset of symptoms until, you know, the end stage. And I find it very important for people to know these things, so that maybe if you know somebody in this situation, friend or family member, or if you happen to see somebody going down the road, then you better understand and aren't really confused. So I'm going to close this video for now, and we will see you again in the next video.